Hello traders, and welcome to another weekly market overview. And in this one we're going to go over some trades that we did take last week. We're also going to discuss a little bit about them and learn something from those trades, and we're also going to get into what's going to happen in this coming week and how we plan to capitalize on those market moves. Let's get into it. And as always, the first market that we're going to get into is always the DXY. Now we're on a daily chart on the DXY. So what can we see from a daily perspective? We can clearly see that last week the market decided to push down even more. We have this amazing bearish rally. And yeah, as you guys know, if you've been following us for the past few weeks, we've been looking to buy dollar strength. We are not selling this rally at all. Now the reason why we're not going to sell this rally is because the market needs to give us some type of retracement, some type of pullback, and we don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the market. And that's essentially the reason why we are not gonna sell the dollar. So going into next week, we are still looking for buying opportunities on the DXY. Our next area, actually let's go down onto the 4-hour and see what's happening there. So on the 4-hour we have this move here. Now this was Friday, and we can see Friday we saw the buyers sort of try and step in. Why do we think that buyers are stepping into this market now? Look at this move here, and does this move not look almost the same as this move? Yeah, kind of. They look almost the same. So we know that every time when the market creates some type of an impulse and the market retraces almost the same as the impulse, we can expect a change in markets. Now this is the first reason why we are looking for why we will start now from this week looking for buying opportunities on the DXY. Now going forward, how will we be looking to actually capitalize on this market? How will we know that the DXY is actually this time finally gonna start buying? Let's get into this analysis. So if we see some type of corrective pattern here, that is a clear indication that we will see this market arise from here. Why? Because after an impulse, and after every impulse correction we need another impulse. That's the principle. Very simple principle. So going into next week, what we will be looking for on the DXY, obviously, like I said, buying opportunities only. We'll be looking for this corrective structure here. Cool. Once we see this corrective pattern here form, that will be the the second indication that now we can start looking for our longing opportunities. Now, where will our targets be? Our first targets will definitely be at this Corona low. I just love to call this the Corona low. Our first target will be here at the Corona low. Now we need to be attentive and pay attention to how market structure is developing. So the next market that we're gonna have a look at is AUDCAD. Now something that's very similar that we just spoke about on the DXY is happening here on AUDCAD. We have this bull run here, right there, and this amazing bull run is followed by this bear run. So what's gonna happen here? What are we looking for now? Now we've got this impulsive move here, and this tells us clearly that the sellers are definitely stepping into this market. Why do we think so? Because on this ascending type structure we have our first touch here, our second touch here, and at our third touch we see this bear rally here. So that shows us that the sellers are definitely stepping into this market. Now we did actually take a position somewhere, where was it? Somewhere here. What we did see was we had this support level here, well, now that was going to turn into resistance, and then we had this pin bar that formed straight into this area that we expected to act as resistance, and we had our sell stop obviously here below. We were taken in by this candle, and we were taken out by this wick here as the market moved to the upside. So we have a -1 position here on AUDCAD, and we're planning to hopefully make that 1% back in the coming week. Now, extending, or rather, let me just move this to accommodate for current price action. Let's just delete this for current price action. Now, currently we have this support zone here that was put in, or that rather a wick tested. You can see that this is an extremely bullish candlestick on the H4, so we are not expecting to just start selling the moment the market opens. What we want to see here is we want to see this market at least come up into this resistance zone and show us some type of rejection, or the best probabilities that we have is if we see the market pulling up into this. Actually, this is the zone that we're going to look for a proper shorting opportunity. Why? Because our risk to reward will be even bigger than it would be if we were taking a trade from here, from this area here. So what we're going to do is actually we're going to have a look at price action in the coming week to see if we develop that corrective pattern here, and maybe if we come up to here, this is definitely an area that we're going to look to turn into a resistance for us to take a nice short with our first targets at these support levels here. So the next pair that we're going to get into is Aussie New Zealand dollar. So you can already see that we do have some analysis on this chart because we did have a position open on this pair. We actually are not in this position anymore because we shifted our stop loss here to kind of just secure our profits, because I expected this retracement to be a lot deeper, maybe even coming down to where we entered. So I didn't want to give the market back all of this profit, so I locked targets here. And as you can see, we were taken out of this position right there, and yeah, now the market seems to be going back up. So going forward, what are we looking for here on Aussie New Zealand? So we are looking for essentially a bigger corrective structure. At this point, it's way too late to be entering this market with a long position. We can see some nice bullish candlesticks here, which confirm or which sort of give us an idea that this market will potentially continue up higher to probably fulfill our end targets, which are up here. But for us to re-enter this position, we want to see a bigger corrective structure, something that looks almost like this. Maybe we want to see it a lower low and a lower high, and maybe one more lower low, and at this third touch, essentially, because we have our first low here, we want to see our second low and our third low. And here at this third low, this is the area where we will be looking for some type of rejection, some type of candlestick. Okay, so the next pair that we're gonna have a look at is AUDUSD. As you can see, there is already analysis on this pair. The reason why the analysis is here is because I actually recorded this already, but I found out that I guess some technical issues, the recording didn't actually work. So I'm just gonna basically explain what I already explained before. So what I explained is that now we are starting, this is the first major pair that we're looking to sell, AUDUSD. Now I actually moved the whole screen to the side to explain why. Now remember, on the DXY we said that we want to buy dollar strength. Now if we look at AUDUSD and we imagine that this is a scale with AUD being on the left and USD being on the right, if the dollar is gaining in strength, we want to see, or rather we'll use the word getting heavier, we want to see this go down. Now if AUD is on the left and USD is on the right, the scale will obviously look like this if the US dollar is heavier in or rather stronger than the AUD, and so we want to see this market make a move to the downside. Now this is the reason why we are looking for a trading opportunity on AUDUSD, because we're looking to buy dollar strength. Now back to the analysis, the actual analysis. What we spoke about here is that we have the potential to create this head and shoulders pattern, with our left shoulder being here, our head being here, and we want to see this completion of this right shoulder here, of which we're going to be looking for a trading opportunity if the market does manage to get to this zone here, this resistance area here that was resistance for the left shoulder and could possibly be resistance for the right shoulder. This is the area that we're going to have a look at to see if we see some type of rejection, some type of change of market structure, or whatever it is that you look for an entry. So the next pair that we're going to have a look at is CHFJPY, and we can see that CHFJPY now is currently trading in this ascending type pattern. We have our first touch here, our second touch here, and we are currently at the third touch of this ascending type pattern. So we can see some sort of reversal happening here. Now what would be, or what would give us an opportunity to trade this market? Now first of all, I want to point out that we could potentially create some type of head and shoulders pattern in this area here. Now we can see that we have some support here from the market. This is the area that the market last touched before we saw this big rally from the markets, and we also have a resistance over here. Now going forward, what we hope to see is that if we see this market essentially break back below this resistance here and find support in this area here, we'll be looking for that upwards movement to complete our right shoulder. And in this area here, this is the area where we will have the best probabilities and the best risk reward for a potential shorting opportunity, all the way down to our targets, which will be at the support area here. Why at that support area? Because this is the area that the market last touched before we saw the market create this higher high. And so this is essentially the reversal of this ascending type pattern that we hope to look for. We want to see this market change, obviously, from a bull market to a bear market. Now characteristics of a bear market, obviously we see lower lows and lower highs.